this week's episode on Pinay Insight, brought to you by a grant from the California State Library in collaboration with the Burlington Community Services and Housing Development. I'm Thelma Sugay, your host. It's been a wonderful ride with you all. We're now on our 9th episode. This week is our Thanksgiving special. We're doing something a little different as our offering to our kababayans all over the world. We have invited Ogie Diaz, a beloved comedian with millions of followers all over the world, to come and appeal to you to not be afraid to report every time you feel you have been a victim of any hate incident that could lead up to a hate crime. So here it is, our Thanksgiving offering to you. And hopefully for the rest of our viewers who would rather have our show in English, give us this one show. It's entirely in the vernacular, but do enjoy it. We will try to translate it for you at some time so you can revisit it. Enjoy and a blessed Thanksgiving to you and yours from our team here on Pinay Insight. Welcome to Pinay Insight. We are so fortunate today because we have with us the LA County Assessor Jeff Prang, who is our special guest speaker and, of course, VIP guest here at the, I want to say this right, so I'm going to look, General Federation of Women's Club, Metropolitan Los Angeles.
It's a long name.
It is. Installation of officers and induction of members here at the beautiful Griffith Park Clubhouse. So how are you? And thank you for explaining what it is an assessor does.
Surely.
I actually guessed right as one of the few.
So actually, you were right. Most people think the assessor is the guy who collects taxes, and they call me tax assessor, which is wrong. There's no such thing as a tax assessor.
Right.
There's a tax collector and an assessor.
Right.
So the guy who collects your taxes, that's the tax collector.
Right.
The assessor, I'm the one who determines what the value of a property is.
Wonderful.
But,
good to know, and thanks for that clarification.
Surely.
So we are actually an ethnic media grantee for this generous grant from the California State Library. And of course, the hope is to eradicate Asian hate.
Sure.
Any form of hate is
Absolutely.
no good. But in my case, particularly for the Filipino American and the Asian hate. Talk to me about your thoughts on that and what you think we can do as responsible citizens.
Well, we are a country that celebrated our diversity since the time that we were founded as a nation. We are a nation of diverse Europeans, of Africans, of Asians, of people from every place, and the country is becoming more and more diverse. And it's important that we all not only learn to tolerate one another, but to accept one another and to celebrate the richness that different cultures blended together offers to make up the fabric of this nation. It has been alarming that leaders in this country in the last couple of years have actually fed some of the hatred aimed toward Asian Americans, such as remember at the beginning of COVID, when there was folks who wanted to call it the Chinese flu.
Right.
There was that was uncalled for, and the moment Chinese Americans started becoming victims, American leaders should have said, wait, we have to stop. We have to use different terminology.
Sure.
We have to double down and remind people that it's not acceptable to blame people of a certain demographic because of an unrelated association. So a lot of the change starts with each and every one of us, how we respect our fellow Americans, and how our political leaders choose to talk about the issues of the day is really important. We have to leadership has to show responsibility. They have to lead by example.
I totally agree. Our tagline on the show is educate,
right?
Don't hate. And I think a lot of it is stems from ignorance,
There-
not knowing. That's fear.
Well, we see this all the time. I mean, if you look at the history of our country,
Yes.
believe it or not, back in the mid-1800s, the people who were at the bottom of the social ladder, who were discriminated against, were Irish people. Somebody from France can't tell the difference between an Irish person if they're standing in line behind one another at a bank. But they're both white Anglo or white European looking, but they didn't like the Irish. And then they didn't like the Italians, and then they didn't like the Chinese, and then they didn't like the Polish or the Vietnamese or the Koreans. It's there's always somebody who's new, but what happens is as people get to know them, they get to know their culture through food, through the celebrations,
contributions, and we
and-
celebrate and honor that.
and people get involved in politics and government, and suddenly we start interacting with one another, and then that hate dissipates, and it all just becomes normal like it should. But it does require extra work for the rest of us.
Right.
And it does mean that as groups are becoming more assimilated, that they're going to encounter those who are who don't know them, who don't understand, and are more intolerant. And we got to work harder.
I agree. And they always say we need to be mindful because our brain functions a certain way.
Yes.
We have a categorization nature of the brain.
Right.
So we have our own biases that may actually work against certain values.
Well-
So we stop and think
Well-
before we act. Yes?
So yes, absolutely. I think the first thing we do though is you can't always change people's minds, but you can change their behavior.
I like that.
If you and as behavior changes, so does further down the road, minds change as well.
Right. And the reaction.
It used to be that it was considered impolite to say, it was wrong socially to say negative things about other people's ethnicity. That's kind of loosened up a lot in the last couple of years, surprisingly.
Yes.
But people seem to feel free to talk about stuff that a few years ago they never would have done. It was considered impolite. But that's important it's important to suppress those negative negative thoughts, and hopefully over time you will become more positive in how you think about people who are different than you.
I have faith in you, and I'm almost sure that the 1,400 people that are working with you and support you are fortunate to have you because you look like a fair and kind man to me. So,
It's kind of
your
you.
Thanksgiving remarks to our viewers.
I just want to wish everybody, everyone and their families and friends a happy, healthy Thanksgiving holiday. Thanksgiving is a time we all stop to reflect, even though we may have challenges. We also have many blessings, and this is a time to give thanks and reflect on the things that make our lives better.
We'll be right back here on Pinay Insight.
So real. you, baby. That's the way you love when you feel free. Oh, keep on loving me. I can take it, girl. I can take it. You are my favorite place to be. Oh, inside you, baby.
We're back on Pinay Insight, still with the backdrop of the General Federation of Women's Clubs. We are so honored to have one of our very own. Just got in last night, nadje-jet lag pa to, pero pinaunlakan tayo para makuha niya ang kanyang award. How does it feel to get your award from the Asian American Press Club of the US?
Oh, syempre, sobra akong saya dahil imported yung award ko.
Talagang hanga ako sa'yo kasi nakita kita nung nag-umpisa ka pa lang with Christy Fermin. Sidekick ka pa lang niya.
De, alalay pa lang ako.
Ganun ba yun?
Noong 1986 pa ako nag-start mag-alalay kay Ate Christy. As in, tagadala ako ng jacket, ng bag, ng water ni Ate Christy. Nung movie patrol and movie magazine days, nung GMA 7 pa.
Okay, ngayon ang mga bag na dinadala mo, sarili mo na at panay pera na ang laban.
Nakakaya naman kung sa 35 years ko sa industry, wala man lang ako narating. At hanggang ngayon, alalay pa rin ako. Siyempre, na sila sa akin, parang hindi sila naniniwala sa akin. Bakit alalay pa rin hanggang ngayon? Dapat may nararating ka habang ikaw ay nabubuhay, habang tumatagal sa industriya, dapat may na-achieve ka. So, feeling ko naman may na-achieve ako kahit paano.
Totoo naman yon. At saka actually, binili ko yung libro mo online. Kaya lang, hindi ko mabuksan-buksan yung e-book ko. Kaya sabi ko sa sarili ko, itong Saturday, bibili ako ng hard book para mabasa ko. That was very brave of you. Hindi lahat open sa kanilang pagkatao. Talk to me about kung anong naka-inspire sa'yo.
Una-una, baka naman nahihiya si Miss Delman, tawagin akong bakla. Bakla po ako.
Hindi naman.
Pero at the same time, isa rin po akong daddy ng 5 magagandang babae na nagmana lahat sa kanilang nanay.
You're very modest.
So I have 21-year-old, 18, 14, 13, and 5 years old.
Wow.
All girls. Siyempre, ako mismo actually, natatakot ako na baka yung mga anak ko biglang lumayo dahil baka ibuli sila or tuksoin sila ng tatay nila bading. Pero hindi ganun na nangyayari. So every time yung mga kaklase nila see me, nasashock sila na ako pala tatay ng mga anak ko.
Kasi hindi naman nila sinasabi.
Hindi nila sinasabi dahil ayoko na sasabihin nila na ako tatay nila, baka magtaas ang kilay. Ano ngayon kung si Ogie Diaz ang tatay mo, sikat ba yun? Baka gumanon sa kanila, kaya sabi ko wag silang mayabang.
Tama.
Hanggat hindi tinatanong kung sino tatay nila, wag silang sasagot.
Maganda yung turo mong yan. And then ngayon, meron ka pang talk show na nag-inspire and you talk about stories of successful. Kamusta na yung talk show?
Ayun, so I have 2 channels, Miss Telma. Yung isa yung may 3 million, almost 3.2 million. Yung Ogie Diaz Inspires. Siyempre, inspires o dapat inspiring, inspirational, at full of hope and wisdom yung aking subject, yung ini-interview ko. So So, na-achieve naman namin yung learnings, yung wisdom na nakukuha nila from my subject. So, nakakatuwa. Tapos, meron din po akong talk show, yung Ogie Diaz Showbiz Talk Show. Every other day siya lumalabas. So, we have to produce 15 videos on a monthly basis. So every other day siya lumalabas with Mama Loy, Josa Poco, Rena, and Tita Jex. So, yun yung pinaka-talk show na namin dun sa Pilipinas. Kasi nga medyo nawawala na yung talk show sa TV. Dahil yung free TV medyo kinakain na ng digital audience yung TV audience eh.
Correct, tama ka dyan. Pero mapag-usapan natin yung inspiration na yan. Kasi kami dito ni Nikki, si Nikki is the president of Asian American Press Club of the US. Kami may nakuha ng konting grant from the government and ang aming tema is to stop the Asian hate. So maganda rin yun. Talk to me about anong thoughts mo pag naririnig mo na medyo madaming mga Asian elderly na sinasaktan dito. Anong nararamdaman mo at anong maipapayo mo?
Okay, so masakit yun na nakakarinig ka ng Asian hate, ng syempre sa mga Pilipino medyo no yun sa atin na discrimination, lalo na yung lahi, relihiyon, even dialect na nilalait. So sa atin pag sinabing Bisaya ka ba, medyo na-offend na yung mga Cebuano. So lalo pa kaya yung race, 'di ba? Yung medyo dinidiscriminate yung ating pagka-Pilipino, yung pagka-Asian natin. So medyo hindi maganda. Pero syempre may papayo ko lang sa mga Pilipino na naririto na nakakaranas ng Asian hate. Yun, wala nga lakas ng loob dahil nga nandun yung feeling na wala sila sa teritoryo nila. So, doon ho sa mga nakakaranas o nakaka-encounter ng Asian hate, lalo na sa mga Pilipino, wag ho kayong mawawalan ng lakas ng loob para isumbong ito sa proper authorities. Kasi pag ito hinayaan natin, akala nung mga taong nakakasakit sa atin, akala nila normal 'yon. So mano-normalize 'yon hanggang sa nanganganak yung bilang ng mga nambibiktima sa atin. Kaya dapat sinusumbong natin 'yan para yung mga authority kumilos para pagtanggol din tayo yung karapatan natin dahil after all, pare-pareho naman tayo mga tao, hindi ba? Kung wala kayong papeles, huwag kayong matakot. Isumbong nyo pa rin sa authority yung nambibiktima sa inyo, yung insidente, yung nambubuli sa inyo. Dahil ikaw rin ang magiging bala para mahinto itong Asian hate na ito. Ngayon, kung ito basta mo na lang tatalikuran, basta mo na lang hahayaan, wala. Mas pinaanak mo yung bilang ng Asian hate. Kaya dapat huwag kayong matakot, maging matapang, maging buwang loob for as long as wala kayong ginagawang masama sa kanila, ay dumiretso lang po tayo ng pagsumbong sa mga authorities at walang kinalaman ng papeles doon sa ganon.
Ogie, alam mo, may nakausap ako. Nangyari yan sa kanya sa New York. Talagang sinaktan siya. Pero buti na lang, malaki siyang tao. Tapos hindi niya sinumbong kasi ang isip niya baka may kulang ng konti yung tao. Alam mo, nung pinalabas ko yung isang sinuplong na may sinaktan na naman na matandang Pilipino, sabi niya, Telma, yan yung sumakit sa akin at nanakit rather. And sabi nga niya, nagigilty ako ngayon dahil hindi ko sinumbong, sana hindi na dumating pa sa ibang tao.
Oo, alam niyo, pag hindi niyo sinumbong yan, ang ending yan na mauulit at pati yung anak ninyo mararanasan yan kasi nga kayo ang nagkonsinte. Yung pag hindi nyo pagsusumbong ay pangungunsinte, tandaan nyo yan.
Correct. So stop the cycle of hate.
Yes, stop the cycle of hate, tama yon. At lagi nyo iisipin, dapat pare-pareho tayong anak ng Diyos.
Tama.
Diba?
So Ogie, bibigyan kitang pagkakataon to invite them to your YouTube show.
Ay, maraming salamat po sa lahat po ng mga nanonood, sumusubaybay ng aking YouTube channel, yung Ogie Diaz Inspires. kung saan meron po tayong one-on-one interview at yung pong ating guest nagbibigay ng wisdom, hope, realization sa buhay na kapupulutan din natin ng aral. At syempre yung aking mga kagahan namin sa entertainment, sa pagbibigay aliw sa inyo, yung Ogie Diaz Showbiz Update with Mamaloy and the gang. Maraming salamat po dahil karamihan ng mga nanonood sa atin, mga Pilipino din, sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo, lalo na rito sa Amerika. Oy, nako, Happy Thanksgiving Day sa ating mga kababayan dito sa Amerika. O, di ba? Mas matindi nga ang celebration ng Thanksgiving kaysa sa Pasko yata.
Oo, at saka ang Halloween din.
Diba?
Thank you so much. We'll be right back here on Pinay Insight. You can watch us on E360 TV. And please watch my friend Ogie. We'll be right back here on Pinay Insight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ogie. Congratulations. We're here at the Orleans Arena with ABS-CBN's biggest offering for the year, the ASAP Vegas. And of course, we have the big name stars of that show, ASAP, with Shasha Padilla, Gary Valenciano, Martin Nievera, Ogie Alcacid, and Regine Velasquez. But of course, we have the young ones as well. We have Beanie, we've got Bagyo BGYO, we've got Kim Chu, Lovey Po, still looking great, by the way. And one of the most beautiful production numbers were, of course, from Jabberwockies, which is a great surprise. And we also have the Love Team, Donna Bella, promoting their movie.
What makes it exciting? Wow, well, we haven't had a rom-com in a while. For Star Cinema, we haven't had one in a while. So I think that's, yung tatak Star Cinema na rom-com na na-miss natin lahat. Siguro yun, when they were watching The Rushes, actually kami wala pa kami napanood eh. Yung trailer pa lang. So we're all gonna watch it. But when they watched it, it was all ages. We had like people from the promo team, a lot of young ones. We had our managers like Felico and stuff, the bosses. They were all there for the first preview of like The Rushes and stuff. And they said, everyone will appreciate this movie. Not just our supporters, but even those who can kind of relate to the characters and feel that love like no other again. Told in a different way, through different characters. And I mean, if you watch the trailer, you could really kind of feel the kind of vibes that you'll get. But there's so much more that you will see in the movie, and just the fact that it's told by a young up-and-coming director in Peterson Vargas, I think that's what makes it different and exciting, because it's told in a new way for this generation, but also everyone can watch it and enjoy it, for sure, 100%.
And adding to that, just the story itself, really, it's such a good material. The first time I read the script, as in, I really cried. I really did. And that's not without acting or anything. Like, we were not on set that time pa. And then, it just made me so emotional. And I think once the audience or the viewers see it, ang dami talaga naman matututunan.
Yeah, I agree. Also, there's a lot of surprises visually
Oh, yeah.
that we cannot spoil. But there will be a lot of things that will be shown here visually that is very different
It's
from the
very
past
new.
Star Cinema movies. So
It's
that's
very
what they can be excited about.
Well, first of all, I am very proud to be a Filipino, really. And I'm so glad that we are actually given this platform to just share our talents and just, you know, how amazing Filipinos are, Filipino talents are. And yeah, not just me, but I'm actually surrounded with, like you guys, I'm surrounded with such amazing Filipinos, such talented Filipinos, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's always weird in a good way when someone tells you they support you, but they don't speak or they're not Filipino. It's really cool. It's a weird cool because it doesn't feel real. Parang it's so surreal. It's so surreal that we're able to reach not just Filipinos with our stories that we tell. And I think that's one of the best things of being able to do what we do, is that we're able to touch many different lives. And like you said, just share the stories of us Filipinos and share what we go through with like our families. This is a rom-com, so like so many different things, our dreams, our aspirations, and that we're able to represent Filipinos in a global aspect. It's always a blessing. Yeah. Well, I guess what is it about Filipinos is that for the most part we're very happy and bubbly and positive, right? A lot of people say like Filipinos, iba yung saya nila. So I guess the saya na nakukuha nila sa akin, being able to share that with, especially when you're with your family, you're watching with a lot of people, you're all going through the emotions together. Even we felt that when we were watching Into Her, or like even other movies together with our friends and families. It's different when you watch a Filipino film na ganun, tapos yung mga sigawan lahat, yung ganun. I think very Pinoy yun. And it's something, I don't know when it started, how it started, but
I think it's because it's such a known feeling as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
It, honestly, not just the young ones, but also the ones, everyone feels kilig, diba? So everyone can actually relate.
yeah, there is no age in Kilig.
Kilig. Yeah,
That's
why.
the magic, that's the secret. It touches every audience, just like love. There is no age in which you can't feel love. So yeah, just being able to share that with everyone in the room and go through those emotions, it's always a good feeling, especially when you're able to take a breather from everything right now, which is why I think this movie is very timely, because it will give you that kilig, yes, given na yun, pero much more than that, just the values it would instill, and like the lessons learned from, okay, what happens if it does get inconvenient? What do we do from there? Do we choose to forget about our dreams, forget about our loved ones, our family, just for the sake of this, or are we gonna fight for it? And a lot of people, I think, actually are in this position right now. They're torn back between like, okay, I love doing this, this is my dream, this is the job I want, but I love staying here as well, this is my comfort zone, am I willing to take that risk? So yes, the kilig will always be there, but there's so much more to it. Yeah. Wow, everyone in the United States, this is it. In around 2 weeks, our movie An Inconvenient Love will be showing. We are so excited to offer this story of just love and life in general to you guys. This is Star Cinema's first theatrical release since the pandemic, and we haven't had a rom-com in a while, so we're just excited to share this story with you. Directed by Peterson Vargas, of course, alongside a great cast. Yes, me and Belle are here, but there's a lot of people in the movie as well. We can't wait for you guys to see this and enjoy. We love you, and thank you to everyone who already has reserved tickets to block screenings. We heard. Yeah, thank you guys.
And it shows on November 23 in the Philippines and the 25th here in the United States. We'll be right back after a few reminders here on Pinay Insight. I'm your host, Thelma Sugay.
Thinking of premeditated violence, perhaps even of killing someone? Your thoughts cannot be ignored or unheard. LifeTarget.org has links to over 400 services ready to help you now. LifeTarget can help you find a proxy, someone always there to help you overcome your thoughts of violence, anger, and hate. Don't let your negative emotions take control. Your loved ones and your community need the positive side of you. You're not alone. LifeTarget has your back.
It's been a pleasure to have you on this week's episode. We will have our Christmas special for episode 11. And then we have this amazing couple who will talk to you about how they started an interracial marriage, and the love between the two of them just makes the whole lines invisible. There's no color, there's no race to talk about, just love. And as we always say here on Pinay Insight, on our Stop the Asian Hate campaign, brought to you by a grant from the California State Library, in collaboration with the Burlington Community Services and Housing Development, educate, don't hate. We'll see you next week. Bye.